Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and you are watching TTV News, some latest events in the province. And now come to details. On the morning of April 4, at the National History Site of the People Medical Committee of the Central Office for the South Vietnam, the Southern Traditional Medical Club of Ho Chi Minh City organized the 50th anniversary of the Southern Liberation and National Reunification and the inauguration ceremony of the statue of President Ho Chi Minh and exemplary daughters.
Associate Professor Dr. Trần Thị Trung Chiến, former Party Central Committee member, former Minister of Health and Chairperson of the Southern Traditional Medical Club of Ho Chi Minh City, recalled the historical struggle to protect the country in which the medical team and health workers contributed significantly through medical research, healthcare, and efforts to prevent and combat epidemics. On this occasion, the Ministry of Health donated funds for the repair and upgrade of the National Historical Site worth 300 million Vietnam dong, awarded 100 scholarships, provided backpacks, learning tools, and 50 bicycles for disadvantaged students, with a total value of more than 337 million Vietnam dong. In the atmosphere of the historic April days, central and local leaders, along with the Southern Traditional Medical Club of Ho Chi Minh City and the families of exemplary doctors, performed the ribbon-cutting ceremony to inaugurate the statue of President Ho Chi Minh and 8 statues of exemplary doctors placed in the grounds of the National Historical Site of the People's Medical Committee of the Central Office for the South Vietnam.
On April 3rd, Colonel Nguyen Trai, Director of the Provincial Police, led the delegation to visit and stand greeting for the traditional Chonchonam New Year to 3 forts including the Gendarmerie, Police, and the military sub-region of Savering Province, Cambodia.
At the places, the Colonel Nguyen Văn Trai conveyed the best wishes to their leaders, officers, and soldiers, and the Cambodians also. He wished for the friendship between the two countries and the two peoples, and the strong relationship between the armed forces of both nations to continue growing and becoming more solid. He, along with the leaders of the three forces, shared information on the economic and the social development situation, public security and order, highlighted achievements in cooperative work and crime prevention, and ensuring the security along the border. Colonel Nguyen Văn Trai also said that in the future, both sides will continue to strengthen the exchange of information related to security and order, enhance cooperation in combating crimes, particularly illegal immigration, human trafficking, drug trafficking, and smuggling, contributing to the creation of a safe, peaceful, friendly, cooperative, and developing the border. In response to the leaders of the three forces, Hangton and Provincial Police, for their goodwill towards the units and the people of Cambodia, and they also affirmed their commitment to continue to work closely with the Provincial Police to maintain security and order in the border area, ensuring that people of both countries can work, produce, and develop the economy in the peace.
After 15 years of implementing the National Target Program for New Rural Construction, the rural transport infrastructure in the province has been comprehensively invested in, connecting communes and districts. To date, over 4,700 kilometers of rural roads have been invested in construction. The rural transport system has developed in both quantity and quality, facilitating the attraction of investors to the rural areas, creating jobs, reducing poverty, and solving many economic and social issues, bringing a new face and new vitality to rural regions.
In order to diversify the new variety with disease resistance, higher yield, and better starch quality, the province has selected and introduced 6 cassava varieties with the resistance to leaf mosaic disease into cultivation. And these varieties include the SN1, SN3, SN5, SN36, SN80, and SN97, with a total area of approximately 5,000 hectares. And through the cultivation process, the varieties have sold relatively high yields ranging from 35 to 40 tons of tubers per hectare. In addition to the cassava varieties resistant to leaf mosaic disease already in cultivation, the Department of Agriculture and Environment of the province is also coordinating with other units to continue surveying and developing the new cassava varieties with the superior genes for the leaf mosaic disease resistance, including the SLH20 0047 variety.
Ladies and gentlemen, policy readiness is not only an extension of the state efforts in poverty reduction, but also a driving force that gives poor households, students, and other beneficiaries the opportunity to rise in life. Thereby, over 120,000 subjects have recently escaped from poverty, and other policy beneficiaries have been able to accept timely loans. This helps stabilize lives, develop production, and provide students with the condition to continue pursuing their dreams.
Policy readiness funds in TayNinhTV have become a lever helping many families, especially ethnic minority households, readily escape from poverty and achieve sustainable economic development. With these referential loans, many families have boldly invested in farming, animal husbandry, and expanded their businesses, creating stable incomes. Not only has it improved living standards, but these funds have also provided motivation for the community to rise, proactively build a better future, and contribute to the local development. I have had access loan funds since 2018. I used the loan to buy a breeding cow, and after a year, I sold the calf to support my daily life. Thanks to the loan from the Bank for Social Policies, now my family and siblings are unable to go to school, which is the first benefit. The second benefit is having stable employment, and we also have better living conditions with improved housing and transportation. Not only is policy ready a solid support for households, but it also opens a door of hope for students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Thanks to referential loans, students can pay for tuition, living expenses, and continue pursuing their dreams at university. This not only is the financial burden on their families, but also provides them with motivation to focus on their study and build a skilled future. When my two children entered university at the same time and moved to Ho Chi Minh City, I was worried and anxious because I couldn't afford their tuition. Fortunately, the local authorities informed me about the student loan program, so I applied. I borrowed 40 million Vietnam dong for each child, a total of 80 million Vietnam dong. This loan helped cover their tuition fees, housing, and living expenses in Ho Chi Minh City. Policy Reddit is an important support for the poor and other policy beneficiaries. The goal is to work together with the poor, ensuring that no one is left behind. With an outstanding loan balance of nearly 4,500 billion Vietnam dong, we have mostly matched the public's needs. We collaborate with all political and social organizations at all levels to carry out effective monitoring and supervision. We are focusing on digital transformation, installing the mobile banking app for customers to check information about their loans, interest payments, and deposits through savings and loan drops. TayNinhTV Bank for Social Policies has actively approached the people, organized outreach activities, and provided loan guidance. Bank officers directly visit each commune, village, and hamlet to survey needs and advise each household, helping them understand their rights and responsibilities. In particular, in 2025, the bank will continue to allocate appropriate funds and make it easier for people to access referential credit. Expediting loan disbursements will not only help households escape from poverty, but also improve living standards and promote sustainable development.
Turn to domestic information. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of the official visit to the Republic of Armenia in Yerevan, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn met with Ms. Hasmir Hakabian, Chairwoman of the Armenia-Vietnam Friendship Parliamentary Group.
The chairwoman of the Armenia-Vietnam Friendship Parliamentary Group appreciated the upliftment of friendship groups in both countries, informing that she would make a very effort to promote the cooperation between the two friendship parliamentary groups especially, and as well as relationship between the parliaments of the two countries in general. The National Assembly Chairman TayNinhTV stated that Vietnam always values its traditional friendship and multifaceted cooperation with Armenia and wishes to promote a comprehensive and long-term bilateral cooperation, specifically in the context of increasingly complex international situations. Appreciating the strengthening of bilateral ties to high-level delegation exchanges from both sides, the National Assembly Chairman emphasized that Vietnam supports Armenia in enhancing cooperation with ASEAN and is ready to act as a connecting point to promote Armenia's cooperation with ASEAN countries. He also expressed the desire to work closely with Armenia to actively contribute to the peace, cooperation, and development in the region and around the world.
The global halal market is worth billions of US dollars each year, with Malaysia being a key processing and distribution hub in Asia. This presents a significant opportunity for Vietnamese products to expand export, but there are still many barriers. One of the main challenges is halal certification. Although it is not mandatory for all imports into Malaysia, it is a priority criterion for most importers, distributors, and retailers. The lack of this certification makes it difficult for Vietnamese products to penetrate the retail system. Additionally, the failure to adapt products to local tastes and cultural consumption habits is another obstacle. Businesses need to rightly understand halal standards, develop long-term strategies, research the market, and invest in developing suitable products to enhance competitiveness.
The Orient recently there have been some unseasonal rains, but afterward the weather turned hot again, ensuring an adequate water supply for irrigation during the peak of the rain season for agricultural production is a rhetorical issue. Relevant authorities have reported that the water supply for irrigation this year is better than in previous year.
A few years ago, the fields in the western part of the Biên Giới Commune Châu district frequently lacked water during the dry season when the groundwater level dropped. Each year, only one or two rice crops were grown. At the end of 2022, the Tân Long Pump Station project was approved by the Provincial People's Committee for Investment, with the implementation from 2022 to 2025 and a total investment of 219 billion Vietnam dong. And to date, the project has been operational, serving the irrigation of the main canal and some first-level canal system. As a result, no locality in Châu district is now facing a lack of irrigation water. Previously, there was no irrigation water in Tân Long Hamlet and part of Bên Cầu Hamlet. Tân Long Pump Station has helped to serve the irrigation for more than 700 hectares in these areas and bringing significant results, allowing the local people to increase their crop yield and the number of production circles compared to before. Other localities have also surveyed and monitored the condition of the irrigation canals and provided timely instruction for the irrigation sector to plan appropriate irrigation for production areas. Additionally, there are supplementary plans based on the forecast from relevant sectors. It is expected that the current water flow in Dầu Tiếng Reservoir is able to support all the three crop seasons in the district in this dry season also. And additionally, there is the T4B and the T4B gel irrigation system in the area. And if the water level drops, we can rely on the downstream source to ensure the raw water levels and maintaining the soil moisture for the crops and providing water for irrigation. And currently, the whole province has 4 water reservoirs, 10 electric pump stations, and 1,742 irrigation canal lines, 265 drainage canal lines, and 74 embankment lines, serving the irrigation needs for the more than 150,000 hectares of over 3 crop seasons. Of this, 80% of the water supply is provided proactively. Despite the fact that the irrigation water supply during the dry season has been ensured, the residents have encouraged to be more proactive in production. The demand for water is increasing in both from the groundwater and surface water, and therefore I recommend that everyone use water sparingly and protect the water resources to prevent the contamination, especially with the raw water. If the raw water becomes contaminated, it will be very difficult for the areas without surface water sources. and the Department of Agriculture and Environment of Dunedin will continue to monitor the rice season's progress to provide timely guidance and instruction to affiliated units and localities. The department has also advised the Provincial People's Committee to instruct Southern Irrigation Management Company and Dunedin Irrigation Management Company to proactively develop the water supply plans, operate irrigation system, and ensure irrigation and drainage, and enhance the drought and water shortage prevention measures for this dry season.
On April 3rd, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, head of the Steering Committee for the International Financial Center in Vietnam, chaired the first meeting to review progress and promote the development of an international financial center in Vietnam. In concluding the meeting, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính noted that building an international financial center is a challenging and new issue for Vietnam. He requested that the Steering Committee, along with relevant ministries, sectors, and localities, closely follow the conclusions of the Village Bureau and the directors of the General Secretary Tolam on this matter, continue to finalize documents and plans while also providing further explanations on areas that need clarification. On this basis, the Prime Minister requested proposals to build a model suitable to Vietnam's development situation and conditions, create independent, unique, outstanding, and competitive policy mechanisms, enhance public-private cooperation, attract and utilize resources from businesses and the public, build an advanced and modern financial center, and strengthen digitalization.
On April 3rd, the General Phan Văn Giang, Politburo member, Minister of National Defense, sent a letter of encouragement to the official and professional soldiers of the Vietnam People's Army who are carrying out the international duties to help mitigate the consequences of the severe earthquake in Myanmar. In the letter, the General mentioned that the earthquake has occurred on the morning of March 28, 2025 in Myanmar, caused significant damage and resulted in over 3,000 deaths and affecting tens of thousands of the people. In response to Myanmar's urgent appeal for assistance, Vietnam quickly dispatched professional military forces to carry out research and rescue operations, demonstrating a mobile international spirit and a profound humanitarian tradition. The General emphasized that the action of the officers and soldiers on the front lines of the rescue operation clearly embodied the spirit of Vietnam is a friend, a reliable partner, and an active, responsible member of the international community. Praising the efforts of the Vietnamese rescue forces, the General affirmed that these activities deeply reflect the noble international spirit, the beautiful traditions of the Vietnamese people, and the admirable qualities of the alcohol soldiers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this April there are special trains leaving Hanoi Station heading to the south. No longer are there the south bombs or the separation amidst smoke and fire, but each of these trains is still filled with pride and love for the homeland. These are the trains heading to the 50th anniversary celebration of the liberation of the South and the reunification of the country.
Hanoi Station one evening in April. This young couple is saying farewell as the girlfriend has the soul to carry out her mission. Miss Tang Thị Thanh Huyền arrived in the General Department of Logistics and Technical Services is a member of the parade group for this year's 30 April commemoration. In the past, our previous generations left for the South with many hardships, enduring separations that could have meant no return. But now we are different. After training, we can call each other via FaceTime or Zalo. On the 3rd and 4th of April, about 3,200 officers, soldiers, and military members traveled to Đồng Nai on 5 trains, departing from Hanoi and Tam Kỳ, Quảng Nam. There, they will train together in preparation for the large-scale parade event, an important occasion marking the 50th anniversary of the country's reunification. We've been training for 4 months now, experiencing many different weather conditions. Some days were extremely cold, others very hot. We bring with us the strongest spirit to try our best and complete the mission. The soldiers on today's strength, as well as the people who are seeing them off, were mostly born and raised in peacetime. They only know of war through history lessons, books, films, and stories from the previous generation. But the journey on this special trance in April will be an unforgettable memory, allowing today's younger generation to fully understand and appreciate the sacred values of peace and independence that we have had for the past half century.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for watching and see you next time.